Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Mat Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
So how many genders are there? You and I probably think there's just 2, but Reuters assumes that there may be 9, and obviously that number could continue to grow. The absurdity of this entire agenda is mind-boggling. Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, this whole same-sex agenda, or the so-called LGBTQ, QQI, all the other alphabet soup that you put to that, is just mind-boggling with regards to something that is so objective and part of the natural created order, male and female. And now Reuters assumes that there must be at least 9 different categories, and I'm sure that that category list will continue to grow.
Yeah, Reuters, of course, is a gigantic news conglomerate, 60,000 strong in terms of employees and so forth. I wrote an article on this recently, but they have asked their employees to identify their sex, their, quote, gender, not by their actual biological, fixable, unchangeable sex, but by what they subjectively feel is their sex. And they offer 9 different choices, including gender queer, whatever that is, I guess, and it says for people who identify as something other than male or female. Well, there's a whole lot of things that are other than male or female. I asked the question, you mean like a turnip? I mean, what does gender queer even mean? But this just illustrates how absurd political correctness is when we deviate from objective truth and enter a situation where subjective silliness rules the day. This is what you get. Reuters offering 9 choices of a person's sex.
Yeah, so the survey that Reuters is now giving to its 60,000 employees asked the employees to choose from a category of list, which includes male and female, the typical M&F that you put on your application, pretty obvious, pretty straightforward. But then it goes on to say transgender, genderqueer / androgynous, intersex, transsexual, FTM, that's female to male, or MTF, that's male to female, or you prefer not to say. You just maybe don't know whether you fit in any one of those 9 categories. You don't know whether you're male, female, transsexual, transgender, male to female, female to male, androgynous, genderqueer, intersex, or any of those. So you just simply put in, you don't know.
Yeah, well, you know, Webster's defines a term reductio ad absurdum as disproof of a proposition by showing an absurdity to which it leads when carried to its logical conclusion. And, you know, I have to ask the question, as long as, you know, as Reuters indicates here in their survey, which is provided by the Human Rights Campaign, it's a radical sexual extremist organization. This is to be in compliance.
Yeah, they're wanting to get the 100% rating
on their
from
equality
the
index,
Human Rights Campaign equality index. That's what they're trying to do.
But they say that you can identify not based on your actual sex, but by, quote, a person's innate, deeply felt psychological identification. Well, I ask the question, if we're going to play fast and loose with fixed biology, why do we have to narrow it down to a person's sex or gender? Why not a person's species, or why not a person's race? If you know, I'm a 6-foot white man, if I want to identify as a 7-foot black man and play in the NBA, and that's, you know, my deeply held personal perception, then isn't it discrimination under the same kind of logic?
Well, you should be able to claim Native American. I don't know, you do have Native American ancestry, but for somebody who doesn't, you might be able to claim Native American even though you're not Native American, because that's what you identify with. And you might be able to include a minority status. You want to get into, for example, a school that maybe that might get you an extra position in that particular application process. So you're not a minority, but you want to claim minority status because that's what you identify with.
Right.
Maybe you've grown up with that. Maybe you just want to identify with that. It's absurd. This whole idea that you can change your sex, that it is somehow just a product of your mind and not of the objective reality of biology and physiology, is absurd. We started off with the gay and lesbian, then it became gay, lesbian, bisexual, GLB, and then gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and then it became LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and then it's as the Q, LGBTQ, which means questioning, and then it has another Q, which means queer, and that's their words, not mine. And then you also have the I, which is intersex, and you have the A, which is asexual. I guess that means no sex. This is not something that we make up. This is the alphabet that just continues to go. And I haven't gone through the alphabet that's currently in existence and use right now. There's more that is part of that. It just becomes absolutely absurd that it's solely a product of your mind, how you want to manifest yourself.
Well, in fact, I call it the alphabet soup of the absurd. But it again shows you, it really, if you bring it up to a 30,000-foot level, isn't it really about man's rebellious determination to say that I am going to define reality, even if it does not comport with actual reality, with God's design for human sexuality, with God's design, biological design for male and female. And we use the absurdum ad reductium argument here to show, or reductium ad absurdum, to show that it's just as ridiculous to say that a person can change their race or even their species as it is to say that a person can change their fixed biological sex. Yet only one of those categories, at least for now, sex, is actually taken seriously by a large swath of people, up to and including Reuters here. And how can we now take Reuters seriously if they report on issues of sex and sexuality and on these highly polarizing...
You can't take Reuters. I mean, if they don't know left from right, male from female, up and down, how can you trust them on anything else? If they're that absurd, and especially if they're going to be writing about any of these topics, such as sexuality, marriage, how can you trust that they're objective? They've completely lost objectivity. They've lost their mind, frankly, in terms of what they're doing. You know, the fact is when we're looking at some of these other situations, like in New Jersey, counselors can counsel someone who wants to, quote unquote, transition. You never can really transition. It doesn't matter whether you have hormones and plastic surgery, you're still your sex of your birth. You can make yourself sound like or appear externally of someone else, just like anybody who does plastic surgery can do. But in New Jersey, you can help someone to transition from male to female in terms of their sex change operations. But you can't help someone who is struggling with unwanted same-sex sexual attractions. You've got to affirm those, and you can't give them any counsel to resist. This agenda is becoming very militant and very oppositional to people of faith and moral values.
And of course, Liberty Counsel, we have a lawsuit in New Jersey, a lawsuit in California, saying that we stand for self-determination, certainly when it comes to a person's sexual feelings and behaviors, but there are non-negotiables where there's no such thing as self-determination. Among them are a person's species, a person's race, and a person's innate born biological sex. So they have a conflict here. On the one hand, they want to have their cake and eat it too. Say, no, a person can actually change something that is fixed and unchangeable, their biological sex / what they call gender, but they can't change something that oftentimes stems from sexual abuse or other outward environmental circumstances, their sexual feelings and attractions and temptations. It is absolutely absurd.
You know, years ago we said, well, what's going to be happening is that men will be able to use the women's restroom. And of course people said, oh, that's absurd. That's a hypothetical. That's just not going to happen. That's not what we're talking about here. No, that's exactly what we're talking about, because that's what we see today. Somebody says, well, I want to identify as a woman, so they use the women's restroom, the locker rooms, the changing rooms, and so forth, whatever they want to, in their mind, objectively identify with. All of this is a complete rejection of the natural created order. It is the rejection of the objective reality. And it also is a very militant movement, and that's why we see this militancy in California and New Jersey that says you can't even counsel someone who wants not to go down this line of same-sex sexual attractions. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. That's lc.org to learn more about how you can work with Liberty Counsel, become a partner of this ministry to advance life, liberty, and family. We have a number of resources that are available there and also on libertycounsel.com. Dr. Judith Reisman's book, Stolen Honor, Stolen Innocence, is available on our website. We also have my book, Same-Sex Marriage, Putting Every Household at Risk, plus others as well. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org, for more information, and also not only to pray for this ministry on a regular basis, but to financially support Liberty Counsel. Together, we can make a difference in America.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.